Recording live from the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio, this is Northeast Georgia Business Radio. Welcome, folks. I'm your host, Tom Sheldon. We're at the beautiful Empower College and Career Center of Jackson County. With me today is a great guest who does some amazing work in the community, Mr. David Butler with Lanier Technical College Adult. Easy for me to say. Let me retry that. I really messed that up. Mr. David Butler with Lanier Technical College Adult Education Department. David, you out there?
I am here.
So even the guy behind the mic messes up once in a while. How are you today, sir?
I am doing great and glad to be here.
Well, we are glad to have you here. And a big shout out real quick to the man behind the scenes. Mr. Mike Salmon is producing for us today. Mike, an awesome job as always with the intro. And David, he does that from time to time. Even though his microphone is off, he still has control of the board. David, what amazing work exactly do you do with Lanier Technical College?
Well, I'm the lead instructor for Jackson County Adult Ed Department. So whatever happens there, I have a little hand in it. Jackson County Adult Ed covers the GED programs and the ESL programs for the county.
I was about to ask you what you did. I know what a GED is. And what was the other one you just said?
ESL. English as a
second.
second language.
Gotcha. Tell me a little bit about the man, David Butler, before we dive much deeper into what you do every day for the community. How'd you get to Jackson County?
Well, I've been here since about 1983.
Your grandfather didn't know?
I think so. I married a local girl, so that's been great.
That works for you.
Yes, had my two kids raised here, graduated right out of this building here.
Did you? Or they did?
They did.
They did, yeah.
So I've been here right along. Worked in construction for a long time, project manager, developer, contractor, all those things for a number of years. And I don't know what happened in 2007, 2008, but I decided not to be in it anymore.
But it wasn't good. It changed your mind pretty quick, did it?
It did. It says, let's find something new.
So you've been bringing pieces of the puzzle together and putting them together for 40 years.
At least, yes. I've been building things.
You're building things.
Yes.
And you still are.
I like to think that's exactly what I'm doing now.
Through education.
Yes.
Awesome. So you mentioned the GED program, the ESOL. Is that all? Jackson County Adult Education is a little bit more than that, isn't it?
What it's really about is workforce development.
Exactly.
It is about getting people to where they're not able to maximize their earnings and getting them to the point where they can do great things with their career.
And that's by increasing their experiences or education, all the above?
It's really everything.
Okay.
They may not know what they want to do. We help them with that. They may not have the certificate to be able to move on to what they want to move on to, and we help them with that.
Is there sorry to cut you off. Is there an age range that you work with that you tend to see a lot of?
Well, they have to be at least 16.
Okay.
And 16, 17-year-olds, of course, they can't be in school at the time.
Right.
But our typical age is upper teens, right on up through the 20s and 30s.
Okay. That old, I got you. Now, how do these students come across? Do they come to you to Lanier Tech? Are they brought to you? If someone's out there in need, or maybe they know someone in need, how do they end up in your programs?
Well, they find out about our program through word of mouth, through
Okay.
the internet.
The community?
Yes, through the community.
Okay.
And they may know somebody that's been in the program. We have parents that were in the program and now their children are in the program.
All right, yeah.
We have the homeschool community. They learn about us. So anybody and everybody that needs us, they find us.
I got you.
And we're not out beating the bushes. We do meet with groups so that we get our name out.
Of course.
But we don't go to the high schools and say, hey folks, come to us. That is not our spot at all.
I'm with you. Now, how is this funded? Is this a government program? This is.
It is one of the a little of this, a little of that funding.
Okay.
The basic funding comes through the federal government, and they call it the Workforce Innovative Opportunities Act.
There's always a big name.
Yes, it's always a big name. It comes with strings attached.
Oh, I can imagine.
All of those things. So that is our basic program. But what really makes it click here in Jackson County is we have a local partner that really helps with the funding. That's the Certified Literate Community Program,
Okay.
the CLCP. That's always a mouthful. And they get local funding with other partners to help us, and they help other things too.
Now, is that important to have more local? I guess more funding in general is important. Is it important to have more funding from the local side?
It's important on a number of different levels. One place is really important is it allows us to do things and to increase our scope where we wouldn't otherwise.
Okay.
We're starting ESL programs right now with no funding from the federal government, but entirely through the CLCP.
Nice.
Yes, and
That's a heck of a partner.
Yes, and the CLCP, and to talk about their funding, that is really a community outreach program. It is nearly entirely funded through local funding sources, which is primarily the county and all 9 municipalities. They have been with us for 25 years, funding the CLCP to help fund us.
I got you.
It is unique among any county that I know of for them to come to the table and say, what you're doing is important and we want to be a part of it.
It's nice they recognize it.
Yes.
Well, they recognize the hard work that you and the others involved are doing.
Yes. Well, what we do for the community is it can't be bought.
Right.
If somebody didn't make it through school, to leave that person as somebody who will never be credentialed and never be able to help themselves is leaving them in a bad spot.
Right. So I guess it's pretty important that these GED and these ESL classes are around to further the community, further the individual, because they're put in a box without them.
Yes, we work with people one person at a time, but in the aggregate, it helps the community.
I got you.
Right now, you asked a little bit about my background.
Yeah.
In 1983, I think there was maybe 25,000 people in the county, and now there's 80,000.
Yeah, it's tripled.
Yes, and
Yeah.
when I started here, everybody that lived here basically had to work somewhere else, and now that's a complete turnaround.
Right. It's changing.
So, like for instance, I'm at the Commerce facility over there, and SK is being trained. Their employees are being trained every day.
Gotcha.
And if you got in the parking lot and see where they're all from, they are not all from Jackson County.
Right.
Primarily, they are from elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so, for a company to be brought here, they're going to say, "What's the workforce like?"
Right.
And the workforce we have a lot to do with.
You know, I never thought of that. I never thought that will attract in time bigger, better paying jobs, more stability to an area with the better jobs. But you have the educated people to fulfill the need.
Right.
I never thought of that.
Yes, it's a turnaround where instead of going outside the county for a decent living, you can come here to the county for
Or stay here.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes, we will attract people and keep the people that we have here.
No, that'd be nice.
Yes.
And I always worry about in general with a community when someone graduates from school, or maybe they don't graduate, but they come of age. Either way, they come of age. They leave. They never come back. They don't want to come back. There's nothing to come back to. But building communities where there is something to come back to. I always worry that a community isn't taking advantage of opportunities. It sounds like the work you're doing is giving the community huge opportunities.
Yes.
To do just that,
Yes.
to keep people here, or bring them back.
That is correct. We want to be able to offer our community opportunities here to
Right.
stay here.
Right.
And people, they like Jackson County. It's a
wonderful place.
It's a terrific place to live. I've been here since '83.
I've been here 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's keep it that way. We talked about funding. We talked about the programs. Now, you're serving the Jackson County area, the Northeast area. Where exactly do you reach?
We reach through the whole county. We've got
Just Jackson County,
all
though.
Jackson County. Lanier Tech is in 7 counties,
Okay,
and I'm only over the one of them.
I got you. Just Jackson County.
Jackson
That's what
County.
you handle.
Yes, but we
Okay.
do have programs all over the county. We have the GED programs in Commerce here in this building at Empower.
Right.
We have
right.
it over in Brazelton.
Okay.
We have a GED program at Jackson County Correctional Institute, which has been successful for a very long time. We had 2 graduates there just this past week.
Congratulations.
And we've been at the Potter's House since, 18 years ago, ongoing partnership there. And the ESL is a fairly new program. We had a program and it went away, and now it's back. And it is back for a great reason. The demand is here.
Mm-hmm.
We've just started the ESL program here. We're about to start one in Commerce. And we're looking for a new one, they call it workplace literacy.
Okay.
So if you have a business that has a non-English speaking frontline workers, say, and maybe there's some issues between the frontline workers and the supervisors, we can come in free of charge and get them an ESL program that's catered specifically for them.
To break down that language barrier.
Yes. So that would be great for the businesses and
Great for everybody.
for those frontline workers.
Yeah.
I think we know that a big thing with employers right now is the turnover of employees.
Oh, it's insane.
Yes. So
It's insane. Keeping employees, finding them. Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So we hope that would be a great boon for the industries here, and we're about to start that. That has not happened yet. But
That's coming down.
Very soon.
That may become your most valuable program of all.
we are anticipating it will.
Wow, that's whoever thought of that. Two gold stars. So there's locations all over the county. It's not just in one spot.
That's right. We feel like we need to be where the people are.
Makes sense.
Jackson County geographically is a pretty big county,
Right.
so it makes sense to be where they are. And right now, we have the funding where we can be there.
That's nice.
So that is,
Now, if I'm backtracking, forgive me, and if you've already answered this, forgive me. I'm trying to clear it in my head, and someone may be listening, clear it in their head. The funding that Jackson County receives stays in Jackson County.
yes, it does.
So Lanier's in 7 counties.
That is right.
So the 7 counties receive funding for individual funding.
No.
It's not is it a shared pot? Is somebody getting more than us? I'm greedy. I want it all to come to Jackson County.
We want it all in Jackson.
Yeah.
Lanier Tech gets it for the whole 7-county
Okay.
area. And then the Lanier Tech says, well, Jackson needs this much, Hall needs that much.
There's budgets.
Right.
Okay.
So the CLCP allows us to do the over and above. And that's what,
Here in Jackson
here in
County.
Jackson County. And even in
They are
Jackson County.
saints. They true.
Yes.
We need to get them in here. I'm dead serious.
Yes. And for instance, we've got a big grant that we've had the last 2 or 3 years with the Jackson EMC Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, please have it go to the communities where we are, Jackson EMC.
Right.
Well, that's beyond the county. So we can serve beyond the county.
I got you.
So because of our funding, I don't think I brought this up, the funding also allows us to do things that other counties can't do, and that's to offer free practice tests
Nice.
and free GED tests.
Okay.
That's $160 per person as a minimum,
So that's a free service
a free service.
because of the additional funding
Right.
right here in Jackson County.
can't-
That is cool.
And cannot,
I'm glad you brought that
yes,
up.
and can't do that anywhere else.
Nice.
So
Nice.
we want people to graduate. We don't want them to have any barrier to graduating.
Right.
And we know that's one. We don't want to hear, oh, I've got to wait for my paycheck week after next.
Well, and I could see that happening.
Happens all the time. And in that week after next, all sorts of things can happen.
Oh, and it always does.
Yes.
It always does. When you say GED, that is for someone who did not graduate from high school.
That is correct.
Explain that a little bit. 'Cause we've heard all of our lives GED, and I think mentally we just pass right over it.
Yes. Well,
Tell
that was
me.
my situation. I didn't know what a
And
GED
I think
was.
that's an honest mistake.
Yes. We think that you've always heard, oh, just go get your GED.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
there's
all
no,
the time.
There's no just go get your GED.
Yeah.
I
Right.
get people walking the door and they say, I'm here to get my GED. I say, well, where should I mail it? Because, that doesn't work like that.
Right.
They have to come in and enroll and assess and see where they are.
It's a program.
Right, have to get them to the point where they can graduate. So it is a way for people to move on. We have a fairly high percentage of our students are homeschooled, and quite often they can't get the high school diploma in a homeschool environment.
I never thought of that.
Right, so you think there's some stigma maybe with the GED, but there's a whole swath of homeschool people that there should be no stigma.
Right.
And there should be no stigma
Yeah,
anyway.
I think that's very unfair, but you're very right. There's a stigma, a moniker with someone who got a GED.
Right, but there are so many different reasons that somebody needs a GED.
Well, hey, listen, if you're a 16, 17-year-old kid and maybe you just have mom at home, maybe you got a couple little brothers and sisters, and you need to go out and you need to work your tail off to help support that household.
And we get that all the time.
I know people have gone through that, and in some cases they never got a GED, but they're grown adults to this day, and they've been very successful because they put their head down and went to work.
That's right.
They never did anything wrong. They did everything right in my book.
Yes, if they're there for their family and that requires for them to drop out, then my hat's off to them for doing what they need to do.
Right.
And quite often we're there for them to help them move on to that next place when they're ready and able to do it.
My point of that was the bad stigmatism.
Yes,
It's rather uncalled for. Now you mentioned to see where I won't say the right word when they start the program to see where they're at. I'm not saying that right.
Well, they have to be assessed.
Assessed. I'm sorry.
Yes, and when they're assessed, our hope is that they can be fast tracked through the program. The GED program has really changed over the years. When I first started, it was all about a long-term program. Now it can be very short-term.
Really?
Yes, we get to count them. This is back to the federal funding, of course. Count them as a success with 12 hours and a GED.
Okay.
And 12 hours is no time. They get a third of it just enrolling.
Okay. 12 hours of what?
Of
class?
Contact hours.
Contact with someone like yourself, one of your instructors?
And some of them can even be taking practice tests at home.
Wow.
So if somebody comes in the door with strong assessments, they can graduate in a week and a half.
Okay.
And
it is that quick.
It can be that quick.
I was about to ask you how long, a month. I was thinking months, 6 months.
Well, we'd like them to be quicker if we can.
Yeah.
And if they can't, we're here for them.
Well, as long as they're learning.
Right.
And getting comfortable with it.
Right. If they're working at it, we're there for them.
Okay.
If they need help, we're there for them. If they're ready to zip through it, we're also there for them. And, whatever it takes there, we want them to be successful. When they're successful, we're successful.
Well, exactly. So it could be done within a week, 10 days, 2 weeks.
Yes, we don't want people to think that that's going to be the case all
Well, it's
the
not,
time.
maybe not be the norm, but it is
right.
possible.
It is possible.
It is possible. And going back to the local funding, they can go through that process for free
Absolutely for free.
here in Jackson County. I can't say that enough. I'm sorry. I'm being redundant.
I am glad you're saying that.
I'm being redundant, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
David, that's really cool.
Well, we're very proud of to be able to do it. And like I say, that all has to do with our funding.
Yeah.
And we can't say enough about the people who are stepping forward to make that work. The county, the cities, plus the people that are giving us grants.
Gotcha. Now, the ESL program, the ESL program, is that similar in?
It's similar but different. They don't have that final certificate that says they got the GED and are moving on. What they get is proficiency in English.
Okay, so they're learning.
They're learning. And we're getting a lot of people that come in with higher degrees from elsewhere. I'm surprised at the people with masters, doctorates.
Oh, I got you.
And they come in.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right. And they need it for their work. They need it for dealing with their families.
So it's just basically courses and more, I don't want to say workshop. I don't want to cheapen anything you're doing. But courses, workshops, does that last a certain amount of time? Is there ever really a time when you say, okay, you're done, you're ready to go?
Sure.
That would be different for everyone, I imagine.
Well, everybody can get to the point where they've done all they can do. And they can shift over to the GED. They can get their GED while they're getting their ESL.
That makes sense.
We get people that also need that certificate. And we can offer it in Spanish. They can be working on their English skills on one side, get their GED in Spanish on the other side and continue to work on their ESL,
Gotcha.
their English. So all at the same time. So we try to be everything for everybody as long as we can.
Now, the local funding help the ESL program in the same manner?
Absolutely, it does.
Wow.
Yes, we could not have the teachers that we have coming on board without it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. We're about to start with the Boys and Girls Club in Commerce. We've partnered with them and the Commerce City Schools. We've partnered with the Jefferson City Schools.
Good.
And they're all finding us people.
Nice. Is there an average length of time? I know we talked about a GED in a couple weeks. That's a great case scenario, or maybe it's probably going to take a little longer than that. How long does this? The ESL program is new to me. I mean, obviously,
It's fairly new to me, but from what I'm seeing, it takes longer.
Okay. 6 months.
They deal more in semesters, 6-month semesters.
Okay.
And they can be the students can be retested after 40 hours to see how much they've improved.
Okay.
And if they improve at 40 hours, they can be moved up and be moved out.
So they're physically going to a quote-unquote classroom.
They are.
Classroom is basically where you make it.
Right. Much more of a regular classroom environment than the GED.
Okay. Well, hey, if you're working, you're trying to make a living, because in most cases you are an adult. You're probably not living at home.
That is the case with nearly all of our students.
There's probably a job somewhere involved.
Yes.
Now, are there night courses, day courses?
We're just starting the commerce class. We put out a questionnaire for the prospective students, and they came back evenings.
Yeah.
I was thinking they may want a morning class over there, but that is not the case.
I got you.
Yeah. So we have evenings here. We're going to have evenings there.
When you say here, you mean Empower?
At the Empower.
At the Empower, right where we're at today.
Yes.
And this is such an amazing facility in general.
Yes. They've given us option of being here 4 nights a week. Right now, we're here 2 nights a week.
Good.
So we have some expansion.
You'll fill those too.
I'm thinking
you will. That's awesome. All right, what did we leave out, David? What did we leave out? What do you need to tell the folks before we get out of here?
Well, one thing I like to talk about is just what does the GED stand for?
Yeah.
We talked about the stigma earlier, where just go get your GED, and there's been a joke for a number of years apparently about it being a good enough diploma. But I like to say it is a good enough diploma.
I would think so.
Exactly, that's what it is. It's a good enough diploma for whatever that student wants to do with their life. Right. It is all about that student moving forward and being successful. So yes, it is a good enough diploma for whatever you want to do.
I got you. What else you got for us? That about it? We talked about our funding, amazing funding. Give them a plug one more time, our local funding.
That's through our CLCP.
Right.
And the major year after year funding is through the county and all the municipalities.
Gotcha.
And above and beyond that is grants they get from on an annual basis.
I got you. Very, very cool. And it is very important, folks, for those listening. David, how can the folks reach you? Or how do they get involved with Lanier Tech?
Here locally, I encourage anybody to text me.
Okay.
Always have my phone, except during this particular little.
Yeah, we made him turn his phone off for 20 minutes, and hopefully we don't get David in trouble. He's way too nice of a guy to get him in trouble. But what's that phone number?
That number is 770-601-1240.
1240.
And I respond to text. That is the most straightforward way. But we also have a website through Lanier Tech, and I think y'all were putting it on the podcast.
Oh, it'll be on the website.
Yeah, and
it'll be on our website, which will link to yours, Lanier Tech.
Yes, and that goes to an online registration portal, and that can link right through to Jackson County.
Now, is that the best way to do it, or to text you, or both?
Well, personally, I like to know somebody's coming and they just come.
Okay.
Our doors are always open.
Right.
If we're there, we will take a student. We don't have to wait for orientation day or the next semester. We're taking them right now.
I got you. Well, you are the lead instructor, so you are the boss man when it comes to that. Very cool. So
we have great instructors that think the same way. So I think
that's good.
Great plan.
And hopefully they love what they do. I'm sure. I don't doubt that for a second.
I think they do.
That's a lot of it right there. Quick question: If say I know somebody who I think should be involved with this, can I contact you on their behalf, or do they need to contact you?
Well, they'll need to contact me. It's fine to have somebody to reach out.
Okay.
But it's adult ed, so
Yeah.
We look for them to act as adults. And we were, 16 and 17-year-olds, we expect them to come in with their parents.
Okay.
But otherwise, they can just come in. All we need is picture ID for the GED program. The ESL is more complicated.
Sure.
They just need to talk to us.
Okay. But they need to talk. Either way, they need to talk to you. That's what I was getting at.
That is correct.
If there's someone's afraid, I can't afford it, or they won't want me, I could never do that they don't need to be thinking that way.
They do not.
That's why I want to hammer home.
A big part of what we do is to make sure that our students have confidence in themselves.
Of course.
We don't expect them coming in the door to have that confidence. We are expecting to help them with that along the way. But no, just contact us.
Okay.
We want them. We need them.
We do. No. And luckily we have the resources to do it.
One thing
Yes, sir.
that's just come up as of yesterday is Lanier Tech has historically had the highest numbers of GEDs of anybody the last couple of years. That's higher than Gwinnett. That's Gwinnett Tech and some of these others. And our program is rapidly becoming the biggest in the whole state.
Congratulations.
So we are super proud of that.
You should be.
We put it out that we're going to have more GEDs than anybody, and we're going to make that goal.
Good deal.
So we're doing everything we can to make it as easy as possible for students to get their GED. So they need to contact us for that to happen.
No, okay. Yeah, I just want people to realize that it's going to be okay. They can contact you and then contact the others and get involved with this. I think that stops a lot of people. They don't have the confidence in themselves.
Yes, that first step in the door.
Yeah.
That's the hard one.
That's the hardest one. Well, David, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Enlightening us on a lot of things that I think, again, we hear something in our mind, or we hear something and we mentally just pass it off. GED, like you were saying, just go get your GED. So thank you for enlightening us.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you.
That was about 22 minutes. That wasn't too bad, was it?
I guess.
They're playing my music. David, thank you for being here. Thank you so much, folks, for listening. This is Northeast Georgia Business Radio.